We are making a lot of money at this time, improving our balance sheet tremendously. And I have never seen such a strong market, Jim. And I've been around for a little while.
All right, so how much a day for a nice one? Give me a Suez Max. How much a day?
Well, it will cost you $70,000 a day, and you will have it for 6 months. And our operating costs are $8,000 a day. And then you will have more than $60,000 a day for your pocket. And this will give you a lot of dividend.
Alright, so that was just from a Mad Money interview with Jim Cramer, with the Nordic American Tanker CEO, and the numbers he was just quoting, they sounded pretty good, didn't they? 70,000 per day, $8,000 per day costs, and meaning over 60,000 of this goes right to the bottom line, which is an incredible amount. And obviously people can see that because the stock price is doing really well, up 7% on the present time, and then 6% on the aftermarket. In the present time, it's worth $861 million, and its closing price was $5.85. So you know, but it looks like the price is going to be over $6, no problem. Yeah, so let's look at the numbers. So the reason I'm looking more at Nordic American Tankers is because the CEOs actually come out and talked about this. And also they posted numbers on their website. So out of all the tanker companies, this one makes it much more easier for an investor to look into their numbers. Though be a bit more reassured that this isn't just Nordic American Tankers. That these numbers will be for like pretty much everyone, because there is no really advantage in terms of like branding or anything. It's all like a commodity service. So everyone kind of charges spot rates, meaning everyone just charges the same rates depending on the market pricing. And this was in March. Mind you, things have gotten even in more demand in April. So this is just to give you an idea of the rates they were getting in March. So for 14 days, it was like $80,000. Then, you know, there was numbers that are lower, like as much as 50,000 a day, 48, 57, 43, 64, 26 per day. So those were like lower numbers, but, you know, we've got the higher numbers too, which is for 60 days. 89,000, 90,000, 75,000, 90,000, and I even got as high as $110,000 per day for 18-day period. So you can kind of see these numbers are, you know, they are high and low, but obviously if we kind of average it out, we would probably get around about $70,000. Which, yeah, like it's incredible in this current industry, particularly that the cost is only $8,000, so they can do very well in this current market. So I kind of just did an estimation based on the 70,000 per day, and I based it on 10 months because we're going to assume 2 months of downtime. And I've got about 23 sewer maxes. So we imagine 23 sewer maxes and we have about 70,000 a day. That brings in revenue of about $483 million. So how does this compare against previous year revenues? So in 2019, revenues were 317 million, and they were up from 2018 of 289. But they haven't actually been above 400 million since 2015, where they did 445 million. So we're talking this year, they could potentially exceed the 2015 year. And as the CEO just like emphasized, it's going to really translate to dividends as well. So not only do you have this company making a huge amount of money, they're going to pay down their debt, they're also going to pay out a lot of dividends. So as you can kind of see in 2017 and 2018, their revenue went lower than $300 million. And you're going to see this impact the dividends in their history. So this is Nordic American Tanker's dividend history, and the dividend history was when they were doing really well in 2015, they were paying as high as 40 cents per quarter on one of the quarters, and then it was like 38 cents, 43 cents. So dividend was really high in 2015, and we're looking at a year that could kind of replicate those dividends, which would be like incredible. Though you got to be wary that a year later it kind of dropped quite heavily. Even in like 2017, it went to like 20 cents. Then in 2018, which is like the shocking years, went to as low as 1 cent, 2 cent. And then now they're kind of boosting it up again. So in February, they announced a 7-cent dividend, and in May they're going to be paying a 14 cent. So they've gone from like 1 cent to 2 cents to 7 cents to 14 cents, and it's very likely that the next dividend after that is going to be even higher because they're raking in a lot of cash. And the CEO, it seems to be very mindful that, they're going to be a dividend stock that's going to be paying out very, very well. So yeah, I kind of thought that interview was very interesting. It's a big boost for this company. And yeah, last time they did over 445 million in revenue. They actually had a lot more ships, I think 30 plus ships, so their margins were not as great. So we can imagine, like, if they made $128 million, especially with a depreciation expense of $82 million. Do not forget with these shipping companies to add back the depreciation, because depreciation is a non-cash expense. So in terms of cash flow, they do really well on the cash flow side of things. So in terms of like positive cash flow, these guys were like basically looking at around 200 million. So now that their margins are even better, they could be raking in this year, just like by my estimates, it might not even be accurate. It could be about 250 to 300 million in positive cash flow, which would be an extraordinary. So imagine that, how much it will re-rate this stock. That if this stock does, a couple of hundred in net profit, this market cap is actually extremely low. We're looking at a PE of 4 to 5, which is extremely low. And we would see a re-rate of this stock on quite a level that they haven't seen in a long time. But that's just my hunch anyway, based on what the CEO has been saying. Let me know what your thoughts are, or if there's any other companies or industries you want to talk about. Just comment below. It's always interesting to hear what your thoughts are. And do like and subscribe, because that always helps. And thank you for tuning in. Until next time, good luck investing, everyone.